crazy or courageous? 10 years ago today, excitement, fear, joy, and confusion swirled in a batter that could have baked 4 dozen muffins of emotions, set in a red checkered handkerchief tumbled in a white wicker basket. Was I crazy or courageous? I sat alone at the closing table and was handed a small brass key that no one on the planet knew I clutched in the palm of my hands. It fit in a master lock that dangled in the fall breeze from 2 huge wobbly wooden gates, flanked by prickly wild roses, sassafras, and honeysuckle, covering an old wall, buried underbrush. I would later find made of railroad ties with a sign cocked sideways that said, "Freedom." Behind these gates, I would unearth my deepest wounds I'm here to heal, and my greatest wonder I'm here to share. Are we free when we strive for and live out our dreams? Does all suddenly become beauty, bliss, and bounty? 5 years before that day, at the closing table in 2002, I sat on a bluff atop the Merrimack River in Castlewood State Park. I asked the universe, spirit, God, my angels, guides, the creator, my ancestors, or whatever you want to name what had been blessing me over and over again, by answering my prayers one by one since I woke up back in 1998. I'd come to trust this presence. I asked, what is my soul's purpose? The moment my eyes closed, I was lifted high above a large plot of land in the country. I saw people and water and trails, organic gardens, love, connection, animals, art, community, music, and I felt it with every fiber of my being. It was a safe space in Mother Nature where people could find refuge from the chaos and confusion of life and remember who they are as magnificent beings, whether they needed solitude on a bench by a creek or lake, one-on-one connection with me or someone who was there to share their gifts and unconditional love, or to hold a puppy or watch a baby chick being born. It was a sacred spiritual sanctuary. I wanted to live there. I longed to live there. I was in an unhappy marriage with an amazing young son, feeling trapped in a cul-de-sac in Baldwin. Was I crazy to listen to this vision? It seemed as if a few moments after my eyes opened on the boulder with a view, I was driving every back road imaginable outside from St. Louis, from Bowling Green, Missouri, to Cuba, seeking the energetic match to what I saw and felt on the boulder that day. These are the words I utilize today, for then I could not describe it, only that this thing like a soulmate was out there somewhere on this planet, and it was my journey to find it. How? When? Was it even possible? Why was I doing this? Where does one begin? The answer is the MLS for real estate soulmates. Stacks and stacks of listings printed and explored online, checking in energetically to feel if the property description or photos matched. Nope. Not that one. Could it be? Nah. How about this one? Nope. Darn. I hope. Close, but no bananas. Was I crazy or courageous? How was this ever going to happen? On August 18th, 2007, I flew my sister, Jenny Burley Krenzer, in from Kansas City because my now ex-husband was getting remarried. I was unsure if I would celebrate or cry. I chose the one person who knew me best on the planet to be with me that weekend. I asked if she minded looking at a piece of property in the country, and a vigorous yes followed. Linda West, my real estate agent, my sister, and I stood before these wonky wooden gates as Lincoln Morris, the other real estate agent, wrangled them open and said, "We'll go down the driveway." I quickly scanned the terrain of tall grasses, unruly branches, fallen trees, and looked at him oddly and said, there's a driveway? We climbed back in my truck, trusting this man, and followed with curiosity and confusion. Random foliage, bent trees, and brushes scraped the sides of my truck, pushing and demanding their way up through what apparently was an ancient blacktop driveway. Was I crazy or courageous? From the space known as the parking lot, all that was visible was more of the same: brush and trees, enormous logs crisscrossed on one another like a game of pick-up sticks, and what looked to have been an open field full of saplings and wildflowers. I was handed a fuzzy, photocopied piece of paper with rectangles in odd formations and told that once upon a time there were buildings here, and if any were left, I should tear them down. We hiked through these downed trees and what looked to be portions of sidewalks. We peered through branches and thorns at hints of structures. It was a steamy 95-degree plus day. Chiggers and ticks were elated by our human presence. Was I crazy? I didn't know the answer. That Monday, after we walked, what I learned was an abandoned alcohol and drug retreat center that at one time Washington University owned. I sat alone with my real estate agent in a tiny room in the Gundaker office off Clayton and 141 in St. Louis. No one knows I'm here, I said boldly. What did that mean? This was between me and God. My vision, my purpose, dream, and darkest fears all wrapped up. I no longer needed to ask permission from my husband, a boyfriend, my parents, or anyone on the planet. This was between me and God, my soul's solo journey. I had not even told my son, thinking he would be thrilled. Yes, there were friends and those who had listened to my plans before this moment, including my sister, and some cheered me on and others thought I was nuts. Not even my sister knew. Several months later, she said, "Whatever happened to that cool property we walked with all the chiggers?" I said calmly, "I bought it." Was I crazy or courageous? I was called by my vision. For those of us raised by intrusive or controlling caregivers or parents, we were told what and who we should be and how and when we should do it. We wanted love, and the only way to get it from those who were afraid and in pain was to comply with their system. I, twisted and contorted and cracked a fake smile to be accepted for the illusion of the person I was being formed into. It's a torturous way to live, and I still, unfortunately, catch myself doing it from time to time. Then I grew up to pretend I knew what I wanted, buried somewhere under all those shoulds. This time my heart knew the truth because it made no sense to the practical little girl who was to follow everyone else's version of who she should be and what was appropriate to do. I knew from a space and place deep within my being, this was mine to do. A huge part of this entire journey is to bring me into the fullness of what I am here to accomplish. And that is to understand, unearth, and let go of the shoulds and to just be me. Taking on a project of 70 acres, 12 buildings to rehab, a 3-acre lake, a bed and breakfast treehouse, an A-frame, and way too many animals is a task and a half. I choose it every day, and some days I wonder, am I crazy or courageous? Most days I walk this path with joy. 10 years later, I have some feelings and judgments about what I should have accomplished by now. I'm so completely excited about my new clarity. For the last 10 years, I've been contorting myself into attempting the creation of an eco-village. Why? Because as I shared my vision with a green architect I hired to help me see about being off-grid and doing all solar and wind power, he said, "You want an eco-village." He handed me a book, and as I flipped through the pages, much of the creative energy and simple systems of living close to and with the land resonated with me. In fact, I even set up a plan at his suggestion and submitted it to the Growing Green Awards to be recognized. I was like a little girl shoved into a beauty contest and not thinking I was pretty, being handed clothing to wear and makeup to put on, and thinking this was the way to find love, peace, and the almighty thing of power, funding. It was out of a place. I was out of place and told to say things and do things to comply. So I did. No one forced me to do anything. I complied to look professional. Even the name of the space has changed so many times, from LL Ranch to Gaia's Green Village to nothing. That's right, nothing. And then one day I recorded a message on my answering machine without rehearsing it. As I listened to the messages, people kept laughing and sighing with glee and saying, "Yes, that's it, the magic land." I could not figure out what the heck they were talking about until one day I asked somebody, "Why are you saying that?" My friend looked at me puzzled and said, "It's what you say on your answering machine." I had, or whatever in the universe knows the right answer, named this space the Magic Land. Am I crazy or courageous? Today, the gates are replaced by 2 tall cedar posts harvested from 70 acres of forest, with a split rail fence buried under brush again, and green metal cattle gates that swing with ease after you release the beefy chain held together by a loop, not a lock. Ah, freedom. The Magic Land is a safe, sacred, spiritual sanctuary in Mother Nature, already prepared in its raw and real state to be a haven of wonder. I, and those who cross through these gates, are visitors. We own nothing. While the deed may be in my name, I do not own this land. I have been chosen and entrusted as caretaker, spiritual guide, visionary, grandmother, mother spider, and goddess of the Magic Land. This sacred spiritual retreat is here for you and me to find rest and comfort in reconnecting with Mother Earth, the animals, fresh air, quiet, And most importantly, to remember who you truly are as an amazing spiritual being having a human experience on this planet. Wherever you live around the globe, I trust that what I share will bless you, inspire you, or make you laugh in some tiny way. If so, then I'm accomplishing my soul's purpose, and that makes me smile from the inside out. Thank you for listening to my story and celebrating the Magic Land's 10-year anniversary. What would you say? Am I crazy or courageous? All my love, Lynne Dyer, Treehouse Wise Woman, September 21st, 2017. We are a private members-only association funded by yours truly through many avenues of entrepreneurship and those that fall in love with what happens here and give back their time and skills and money and love. You may experience the Magic Land, its wonder, by scheduling a day to visit, camping, donating what you feel led to, or creating an intuitive session or safe conversation couple session with me, or an adventure nature walk. You may book a night in my enchanted tiny house treehouse, or the funky, unfinished A-frame through Airbnb or glamping home. Either way, we're glad you're here. Thanks for listening.